why, Ford? Why would you switch to wet belt? Wet belt has been around for a while now. It started with Ford's 1.8 TDCi engine to boost efficiency and reliability, but then they noticed that the first gen wet belt was breaking, causing serious engine damage. So they released a timing chain conversion kit to fix the problem. And you'll think they'll never release something like it again, right? Well, no. A few years later, they introduced their full wet belt system in their most efficient engine yet, the 1-litre EcoBoost. Then, in 2016, they released a 2-litre diesel EcoBlue engine. The Cambelt system on their 1-litre EcoBoost and 2-litre EcoBlue is completely submerged in oil. This helps reduce friction, vibration and noise, which makes the engine more efficient by 1% per year. If you think reliable brands like Honda, Volkswagen and Toyota will never join this wet belt madness, you're wrong. Across the board, there have been many reports of wet belt failures, from the likes of reduced braking efficiency, hard starts, turbo failure and even engine failure. So in this video, we'll compare the dry belt and wet belt. You can decide whether to buy one with or without a wet belt. So let's get started. And what is going on, guys? Oh, shall I say good evening, guys, because I am actually out here fixing, well, changing the cam belt and water pump on this Z-Tech and performing a full service on this one as well after we replace the belt to find out if there is any damage. The thing is, I don't think it does because the customer thinks that it does have damage, but I think he's getting the timing belt and auxiliary belt a little bit confused. So shall we go and have a look? Timing belt is what drives the camshaft and crankshaft in your engine. This belt is what keeps your engine in sync, preventing valve to piston contact. On the other hand, the auxiliary belt is what drives the accessories of the engine, such as the alternator, aircon compressor, and sometimes the water pump. So as you can see right there, that is his auxiliary belt. And as you can see, it's definitely seen better days. Well, now you're probably asking, why then am I changing the cam belt and the warp? Why don't you just change the auxiliary belt? I think you're just trying to sell it. No, I'm not, because he's also reported that he's been losing coolant every week. He needs to top it up every week. And let me show you another thing. That's why we're replacing the cam belt and water pump. And I've only just found this out. I was only actually supposed to replace the, see, now I'm saying cam belt as well, the auxiliary belt. So let's go and have a look and let me show you as to why I recommended to replace that cam belt and water pump as well. So as you can see right there at the very bottom, that pink looking thing at the very bottom right there, that is the water pump leaking. And obviously to get to the water pump, you have to remove the cam belt and the tensioner and the idler pulley, etc, etc. So yeah, it just makes sense that we replace the cam belt. So no, I'm not just selling it. That's probably the reason why this auxiliary belt died on him. Well, dying on him. As you can see, it's held on by hopes and dreams now. So yeah, let's go. To replace a conventional timing belt, there is no need to drain the oil out of the engine, as we don't need to remove the sump, which means cheaper labor to maintain and replace a conventional dry belt. Just when I thought the job was going too well, I can't believe this. My heart is broken, it really is. RIP to my 6 amp hour battery. It is completely dead. It's not completely dead because you can actually buy the casing for this, but however, this is just all noise, no spin now. Look, I can't even show you because the battery is bye-bye. I've stuck it back together. However, look, you can see that's working, but look. That's not a good sign. I think I should just stop right here, right now, because yeah, my tool is broken. But we'll carry on. Let's remove the rocker cover, remove the timing belt cover and everything. We'll just obviously remove the alternator and stuff like that as well, because we do have to move that. So let's carry on. This is the 1.4 engine, so it should be friendly. And this engine right here is the last reliable engine for Ford. I say reliable because they are. They absolutely are. Or the petrol version anyway. You don't want the 1-litre EcoBoost on this, do you? Look at the stage. This, it's got a tail now. It's like, it's still intact. Well, it's formed the tail, as you can see. That's absolutely insane. But come have a look. The belt is actually exposed now, so let me show you. Looking at the state of this belt, it looks to be in good condition. considering that it's 16 years old, never been replaced, and has been driven around 70,000 miles. Wet belt, however, if it's put in the same condition, it could cause it to degrade and crack, increasing the chance of it snapping and losing teeth. Wet belt has been known to snap as early as 20,000 miles. That being said, we can start preparing this engine so we can lock the crank and camshaft in place, which will allow us to remove the old cam belt. If you compare the same job to a wet belt replacement, there will be a lot more to remove just to expose the cam belt and also to get the engine to lock in position. Right, so on these 1.4s and the 1.6 and I think the 1.8 as well, to get the cam belt off, you pretty much have to, no, not pretty much, you do have to remove that 13mm bolt while that spanner is connected right now. And whoever's done it last, the cam belt, because I know it's been done, there's markers on the bloody thing. Look at it, it is tight. The thing is, that bolt, I know once it's loose, it's gonna slip out, like it's just gonna go. It's not one of them, like, you know, them rubbery, those things, rubbery nuts, bolts, whatever it is, you know, when it's like slow for when it loosens. But this one, when it loosens up, I know it's just gonna go bump, and I'm gonna bump my hand in this very cold weather, and it's gonna be painful. It's very, very annoying. God, talking to spec, I think this one is only supposed to be like 45 or something like that. That is definitely more than 45 Newton meters, something like that. Something not too tight. They're quite loose, they're not too tight. Came off with the little thing. So this is the 3/8 and a bit of extension, as you can see there, with that. Right. Oh mate, I think that I thought it was taking the thread with it. Jesus Christ, you saw how much I struggled in that. Putting my weight on it, and I think it snapped. Oh God. See what I mean? Look. So I mean when I said that it's just going to slide out once it's loose. Look at this. Watch. See? And that is actually on the bolt. Look. That would have been very painful. Like, I'm not putting anything on that. I've just taken the rocker cover off, and I think either this vehicle is not treated properly, or the people who's been servicing this car has been using incorrect oil, because this is legit really bad. By removing the rocker cover, I exposed the camshafts, and I was surprised at what I saw. Looking at the camshafts, it looks like the vehicle was not serviced regularly, or the wrong type of oil was used. Lots of varnishing and some hardened oil in the journals. If a wet belt was exposed to the same condition, it is certain that the wet belt will perish sooner than said interval of 100,000 miles. I am not advocating for it, but if you use the wrong oil on dry belt engines, it is likely that you'll get away with it. On the other hand, if you use the wrong oil in an engine where a wet belt is fitted, it is likely that you'll damage the engine, as the belt can wear prematurely. Now that we've locked the crank, what we're going to do is turn that. Once it's butted up, we're going to move at the top, but first we have to grab our trusty tool right here, and then this should just fit straight in there. Look at that, beautiful. So that's when you know that the engine is perfectly timed, because that has just gone straight in there. Right, now that we've taken the crank bolt out of that crank pulley, the next thing to do now is to give that a little soak of Power Lube Plus. Of course, this is from Launch UK. You can buy this from my website if you want one. It's a very good, it's a penetrant, and it loosens up some rust and stuff like that. It'll help you to remove stuff like this. As you can see, that is currently seized in place, but we'll leave that to soak for the time being. And what we're going to do next is we're going to be removing this here. So that's 13mm. We're going to loosen that up so that we can have the pulleys free floating, and we can get the belt off. We can get the belt off now, really, but anyway, let's go and do that. Now that the top hand is obviously loose, you can see there the two camshafts, they're loose now. The next thing, now that obviously we soaked that with the good old Power Lube Plus, and for the people that's worked on these vehicles before, you know that they can get seized in place. And let's see if the Power Lube Plus work this magic. Oh, there you go. There you go. Nice. You guys are probably gonna say I've taken it out before. Look, it's still dry on that bit, but it's wet. Look, penetrated. where it was basically sitting like this, so it's penetrated right down at the bottom, but the top, you can see the back side of it, it's still dry, but it did this job. And that's off. We can finally remove the belt. Yay! To be fair, this belt is not too bad, but it's definitely due. I can't even see the markers anymore. Like, it's there, like all of the sizing, the manufacturer. See, it's still original Ford, and this vehicle is 2008, so I'm not sure if this has been replaced in between or not. It's definitely not bad, but it's the water pump that's the issue anyway. You can just about see it there. Let me show you. Evidently, this water pump has been leaking quite badly. You can see some coolant staining all on the engine block and also on the under tray. Since the cam belt has not been replaced, it is likely that the coolant is also old, which may have caused the water pump and its gasket to fail. In the 1 litre EcoBoost engines, the water pump, or rather the water pump journal, is embedded in the timing belt cover, meaning that if the coolant gasket was to fail, it will also end up leaking into the oil system, which will cause the engine and oil to mix. That is definitely not good for your engine. That being said, we can start installing the new water pump for this dry belt. All we have to do is to clean the mating surface properly and torque the water pump down to the correct spec. After installing the water pump, we can install the new dry cam belt on the engine. And just like that, the belt is now in. Don't you just love a free floating crank cam? It's just nice. It's so easy to put the belt in it. You don't have to like fight with it. Saying that though, they have given me, well, my supplier have given me the wrong one earlier, and I quickly had to basically run out because they were closing literally like 10 minutes before I realized that was the wrong belt. Annoyingly, but we're making progress. We're making progress, as you can see, it is in. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten up the crank first before we can even tighten up the camshaft, purely because you want that crank to turn, but at the same time having this pulley, the cam pulley, basically turning at the same time without the cams turning, to make sure that it's timed up and it's locked up properly in place. So let's go do that. They don't make stuff like this anymore. Like, this is a very successful engine. Why, Ford? Why would you switch to wet belt? Successful engine, wet belt. Sort of, man. Think, bro. Go. There are so many advantages to using dry belt. Even though they invented the wet belt technology to last longer than the conventional dry belt, it seems like the complete opposite is happening. It's not isolated to Ford. It's happening all across the board, including Toyota, PSA, VW, and now Honda. Now then, for the most satisfying part, this is what everyone loves to do. Hold on. Oh, if you pull out then, pull out. For the most satisfying part, look at this. This is why I love floating pulleys. Right? And all that, it's nice and tensioned. Lovely. Now that we've got the timing belt tensioned up, we can finally start putting everything back in, starting from the bottom timing belt cover. Once the bottom timing belt cover is back on, we can install the crank pulley. This will then allow us to check our timing marks for the last time. After we've checked that our timing marks are all in correct position, we can finally start putting everything back in, including the upper timing belt cover and rocker cover. I don't know what is with Ford, but they love special belts. This vehicle is actually fitted with what they call a stretch belt. Now, you need a special tool for that, but I don't have it. So, let me show you how I usually do it. It's very unorthodox, right? It's not like you have to turn the crank, etc, etc. It's none of that. Have a look. Whilst the alternator is off, I have put the belt all around. The alternator, crank, and the aircon should go, and then you slide it into your water pump. But obviously, it's not tensioned just yet. So now, you get the good old bolts for your, this is for your alternator, the top two anyway. Then you just push it in, or should allow you to push it in. Oh yeah. Alright, put it there temporarily. This one as well. Yeah. I know that it's not in the hole just yet, so what you need to do is to basically push from this thing. Push it where it needs to be. If I can get to the bolt, that is. Oh, just off a little bit. But right, so I've put everything back together now. The time-lapse camera died. I'm very sorry guys that you didn't see that, but we're gonna jump in the car now. We got it hooked up on the van because it's dead. Let the fuel pump because they haven't started this in a while. Let's not give ourselves a heart attack. And 3, 2, 1. Right. Come in, come in. Come on. Come in, come in. I am such an idiot! Why does it not start? Well, let me tell you why it doesn't start, yeah? Look at this. Look! Where's the HD leads? Senile. God, is it too late? I'm enjoying this. I know it's late, but I'm enjoying this. I'm actually awake. As you can tell, I am ill, but that shouldn't affect me putting the HD leads back on. God, I'm so dumb. The HD leads are back on. Let's go for attempt number 2. Hopefully we didn't flood the engine now. That should be primed. Oh, listen to that. 1 click. Just like that. Nice. And it's running nice and smooth. And there she is, just singing and purring nicely. So we did a job right. And as you can see now, the belt is running nicely as well. Now obviously that we're done, we have to obviously put the coolant in there and also do a service on the vehicle. So let's go and do that. Now to ensure that the quality of the filters that you're using, you have to make sure that you're using OE matching parts, which is what Febby is basically. Right, so I am in the process of replacing this cabin filter right here, and from the looks of it, it hasn't been replaced before, but we're obviously going to be replacing it with Febby, which is OE quality matching. Oh, hello, my thingy, my light, my Milwaukee is now dying. Right, so we're going to replace that and find out if it's been replaced before or not. Oh, that's a bad sign, people. That is a bad sign. Oh. Okay, the back side, obviously, filtered side looks good. Oh, mate, that is grim. Look at it. So that is from Ford. You can see it there, look. That is from Ford. That's still the original part number 0423. I'm hoping that is the manufacturing date. Now that tells me then that it's just a year old, but that doesn't look like a year old. 0423. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, pal. But anyway, let's put this Febby in there so we can go home. Look, it's dark. You can't even see anything. And just like that, we are now done. It is now 10 o'clock. Oh my god, 10 o'clock now. So yeah, I need to head home. Thank you very much for watching. If you're still here, if that deserves your subscribe, please make sure to click the subscribe button. So thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more of me and see more of this content, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next part. Peace.